What's up, y'all? It's your girl Roxiie with Roxiie Says, and we're going to talk about it. Today, we are reviewing The Ultimatum Season 3, Episodes 2 and 3, all right? These couples got on my last nerve, so let's get right into this video. But before we do, please do not forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you are made aware every time I post a new video. And I just have to say, thank you all so much, because guess what? We did it, y'all. We hit 30,000 subscribers. Thank you all so much. I appreciate each and every single one of you. I cannot stress that enough. Y'all are so supportive, so encouraging, so funny. And I'm just so happy that y'all enjoy my content. It still amazes me. Like, I just be sitting at my computer making videos and y'all really enjoy it. And that means so much to me. So thank you all so much. Okay, so before I start tearing up, because y'all know how I be doing sometimes, let's get into this review, okay? So as episode 2 opens up, it's dating week and there are only 4 days left to pick a partner for the trial marriage, all right? So we see Nick and Vanessa, they're vibing, they're getting to know each other more. So Vanessa tells Nick that she was in a bodybuilding competition last year, and because Dave wasn't too happy about it, she agreed to not do it this year. Now, when I say that, is nothing more than Dave being insecure because he know his girl's gonna be around a bunch of big, beefy men, okay, that he cannot compare with. That's all that's about. And you know, Nick is like, oh, well, you know, if I was your man, I would support you. I wouldn't do you like that. I wouldn't do you like that. And in this scene, I was like, oh, I think that Nick is really feeling Vanessa. He's feeling her so much, in fact, that he says that he thinks her farts would be cute. Now, I said, huh? What? Okay, Nick, I love that for y'all. Nick is artistic and Vanessa is a bit quirky, and we can see them both feeding off of each other and embracing each other's personalities. Whereas their partners, right, Dave and Sandy, they're usually turned off by their weirdness. And that's all everyone wants, right? Just to be with someone who they can be their complete selves with, okay? But ooh, Nick, I did not forget in that cast reveal video when you said that you've done some things that have made Sandy question the relationship. I know you're all perfect in front of Vanessa for right now, but I still got my eye on you, and the way you gonna act out in the next episode, oh, we gonna get to you, Nikki boy. We gonna get to you. So next, we are with Chanel and Dave, and Chanel just seems like such a little sweetie pie to me. I think she is so adorable, and I don't want to see her with Dave, okay? I do not. He's on a date with her, but he's so worried about Vanessa making another connection, and I truly love that for him. I truly do, okay? Chanel says that she would like to be with someone who's fun, who's easygoing, and who's able to show her blind spots. And then they get into a deeper conversation and they start discussing just how hard this experience really gets when they're back in their rooms all alone with their thoughts and they cannot help but to think about their exes. And they both say that they've thought about leaving, all right? And I'm like, yeah, y'all should have never came. I don't know why y'all be playing these games with y'all's relationships, but once again, thank you for the entertainment, all right? They both say that they would be extremely hurt if they found out that their exes got physical with someone else, because although they're technically single, they definitely feel betrayed if someone else was able to infiltrate their relationships so easily and so quickly. So they are both really nervous, but especially Dave, okay? Especially Dave, because I don't think that he's ever even imagined the possibility of Vanessa leaving him for someone else. And since he already thinks that some people are only here to use this experience as a hall pass, he's really shook. If you saw his interview in the cast reveal video, one of his biggest concerns was Vanessa getting physical with someone, all right? So child, we're only 3 days away from Choice Day, and we see Micah and Mariah. Whenever Chanel or Micah are on my screen, I'm just all smiles. They're just the cutest couple to me, and I really hope that they get married after this. I don't want them to end up with anyone else. I know it's a little bit early, but we'll see, okay? Anyways, we see Mariah tell Micah about her childhood and how much her mom struggled as a single parent, and she says that she wasn't really able to enjoy her childhood because her mother wouldn't let her go out. Meanwhile, Micah says that he's very close to his family and he had a lot of freedom as a child, all right? Now, the conversation was cute, and you can tell that production really tried their hardest to kind of make this scene into a thing. They was trying to make fetch happen, and it's not gonna happen, okay? Because as I watch this scene, all I see is two people who make great friends. That's it. That's all right? So next we see Kaleb and Arya, and they discuss their relationship insecurities. Kaleb says that he's insecure in his ability to be able to provide for his partner financially, and Arya is afraid to ever be dependent on a man for his paycheck. These are both very valid concerns to have on both ends, right? It seems like Kaleb wants to be able to provide for his partner, so that's a good sign, right? And Arya says that her feelings don't necessarily come from anything that Scotty's weird ass has done. Now, she didn't call him weird. I'm calling him weird, okay, because he's still a weirdo in my eyes. But I definitely think that her watching her parents' relationship, which ultimately ended up in divorce, has a lot to do with why she wants to make sure that she never has to depend on a man, okay? Arya says that she's okay with being the villain if that means upholding her standards. And I said yes. Period. Okay. And especially with the way Scotty was acting and talking to you in episode 1, girl, you better not give up a damn thing for him. Okay. Kaleb says that he feels like he's replaceable in Mariah's life because she wasn't single for a very long time before they started dating. So he feels like maybe there's someone better out there for her. And I said, see, I don't like that insecurity, because that's when people start accusing you of stuff. And you can be completely faithful, not doing a thing, but if they don't feel like they're worth being with you, a lot of times that leads to projection, because they just cannot understand why you would settle for them. And he's already financially insecure. I do like Kaleb. I think that he is an absolute sweetheart, but I also think that he needs some time alone to work on those insecurities first, right? Build his confidence up so that he can be the best him in a relationship. All right. So now it is time for the cocktail party, child. And they decide to play a game called Never Have I Ever. What is y'all with these games? Y'all didn't learn from the first game. Y'all didn't learn from the first game. So we learned that Nick has been to an orgy. Okay. He didn't participate though. All right. He just observed. So I guess he just walked around and was like, good form. Child, next we see Vanessa acting like she want to take Chanel back upstairs to the hotel room. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm okay with it, because honestly, this is the most chemistry that I've seen on my screen since the season started. So we see everyone continuing to mingle. JR and Sandy, they have a chat, and he's telling her that she will add something different to his life, and she'll be a different experience for him. All right, JR, we gonna get into you in a little bit. Sit tight, all right? So next we see Dave, and he's having a conversation with Mariah and telling her how much she gets him. And I was like, wait, hold up. Are you having this conversation in front of Vanessa? And he was. So Vanessa said, you know what? She decided to be petty, and she ran over to Nick and she started mocking Dave. And she's like, oh my God, I feel the same way about you. You just get me. And Nick started cracking up, and I'm not mad at her at all. Okay. Because why did you have that conversation with Mariah right in front of Vanessa? No, you wanted some attention from Vanessa, and now you got it. And you see how much it bothers him when he gets a taste of his own medicine? Keep it up, David, because it's going to get worse. So next we see Scotty, and he's having a conversation with Zena. And like I said in my last video, if I was Zena, I would be staying far, far, far away from Scotty after seeing how short his fuse was with Arya, okay? But here we are. And he says that he doesn't understand why he feels like he has to fight to make Arya love him when he knows what he wants. And Zena tells him that his feelings aren't wrong and he deserves exactly what he wants. And I'm like, but girl, does he though? Does he though? And while they're talking, you see Arya laughing it up with JR. But I'm like, Arya, don't even bother. Okay, he wants Sandy. He wants Sandy. And in this scene, you can see it even in his body language. Arya is laughing and she's touching on him, and he's just keeping his hands to himself. He's not caressing her shoulder like he was caressing Sandy's shoulder. He's not trying to get closer to her like he was with Sandy. Side note, don't Zena look just like Cardi B? They have the same face, and you can't tell me no different, all right? So next we see Vanessa ask Nick why he hasn't tried to talk to her all night. So he takes her aside for a private chat, and he's like, you know, it's because we're in front of everyone, and my feelings for you are just so, so strong. Bullshit. Bullshit, Nick. Now, he might like you, Vanessa, but he ain't worried about you right now. He's trying to keep his eye on Sandy, okay? He could barely keep eye contact with you in this conversation. He just keeps looking over to the side to see what everyone else is doing. And Vanessa's just like, oh my God, you're so sweet. You're so sweet. Girl, no, he's not. Are you blind? He don't really like you like that. Meanwhile, David is stressing about seeing Vanessa having a good time with Nick, and Chanel empathizes, right? Because she's going through the same thing with Micah, and she tries to calm Dave down by telling him to just smile. It'll all be okay. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be okay. I don't think it's going to be okay. So next, child, we see JR ask Micah if he's ever been with a white girl, okay? And Micah's like, yeah. And JR's like, oh, you dated one? And Micah's like, nah, I never dated one. But, you know, you ain't ask if I dated one. You ask if I've been with one, right? Like, we know what that means. And JR is so giddy. And he's like, Sandy's got that fire. This is my first opportunity to be with a white girl with no strings attached, okay? And then he's like, Arya's cool too, but that's what I'm used to dating. Mixed girls, and she's Black and Hispanic, so I want to explore that too, but she's the safe option. When I tell you I cannot stand JR, from episode 1, we see that when he speaks about women, it's not about who they are as a person. He categorizes them: white, mixed, Scorpio, okay? I don't think that JR likes women at all. And when I say that, I'm not saying that he's attracted to men. I'm saying that he doesn't like women. He doesn't see women. He sees them as nothing more than objects for him to explore and experience, okay? He'll sleep with them, though. He'll sleep with them to feel some type of connection and to satisfy whatever the hell he has going on inside of him, but he doesn't really like them, right? I truly feel that JR needs to go see the lady, and he needs to see her expeditiously, okay? So next we see Vanessa and Dave. She asks him if he's okay and if he would like to talk. So they step aside, and he immediately starts crying and telling her how hard the past couple of days have been. And Vanessa hears him, and she's sad to see him sad, but she says that this experience is showing her all of the things that she was once willing to accept, and that is not okay with her anymore. And Dave, it's okay for you to be sad. Vanessa was sad every time that you told her marriage was on the horizon, right? And now y'all's breakup might also be on the horizon. See how that works? See how that works? Yeah. He gets even more sad when Vanessa says that she's excited for the trial marriage. He was like, you're excited? Weren't you excited on the first night? Weren't you excited to get to know Mariah? Huh? Did you forget? Did you forget about that, David? And even though I don't think that Nick and Vanessa are going to run off into the sunset together, Dave needs to see other men showing interest in Vanessa. Sometimes people need to see that because they get a little bit too comfortable. They think no one else wants you. They think you're not going anywhere, okay? You got to keep them on their toes, baby, at all times. At all times, all right? And Vanessa tells Dave, hey, babe, just trust the process. Whatever happens, happens, all right? It's all good. In the club, we all fam. All right, y'all. So there's only one day left until everyone makes their choice. We see Scotty and Zena, and every time he is on my screen, I'm just rolling my eyes because he talks a good game, but I know he is just one question away, one uncomfortable question away from screaming at somebody. But Zena is just soaking it all up, child. So they speak about their cuddle preferences, their sleeping attire or lack thereof on both sides, all right? Scotty says that he wants a wife who makes him feel uplifted and supportive, and Zena wants her husband to be 100% invested. Even though she's independent, she still wants her man to take the lead, and JR doesn't really do that. And Scotty likes that because he feels like he doesn't get the opportunity to take the lead in his relationship with Arya, okay? So next we see Arya. She goes on a date with JR, and in her confessional, she says that JR makes her feel protected, secure, and she can tell that he's loyal. And I said, girl, what episode was this? Because I must have missed it. Where did any of this happen? They discuss their timeline for kids, and JR is like, I know women have a biological clock, but I don't want that clock to affect my clock, you know, when I'm ready to have kids. Child. Arya asked him if he is fully healed from his past relationship. And the way that JR answered this question had me wondering if he was the one who actually got cheated on, because in episode 1, I assumed he did the cheating. But either way, it would explain a lot, right? Getting cheated on could very well be JR's villain origin story. And JR says that he feels like he can be vulnerable with Arya because they have such similar backgrounds, right? So she can empathize with him. And the translation of that is, you'll be able to better understand my day-to-day struggles as a Black man because you're a Black woman, and that's why you are the safer option for me. Like he was telling Micah, if I'm not mistaken. But I already know that he's gonna go with Sandy because she's something new and different, like a shiny new car, all right? And that box on his pathetic little list hasn't been checked yet. And he gotta check that box, y'all. He gotta check off that box. Arya is really feeling JR, and she says that she just knows that he's emotionally intelligent and secure with himself. And I'm like, girl, what episode was this in? Because I missed it, baby. And JR says that he just knows that Arya is trial marriage material and she has the qualities of a good wife, but Sandy is fun and flirty. So next we see JR go on a date with Sandy, and she explains two in the pink, one in the I really thought I was going to be able to say that with a straight face, but she explains two in the pink, one in the stink to him, all right? And JR tells her that he usually cooks his own meals at home because he has to keep a strict diet. He got to keep that body ripped, mean, and lean since he's a personal trainer, all right? You can see that JR is so happy talking to Sandy. And honestly, I would actually like this conversation and feel like this is a good matchup as a couple if it didn't have this fetishy undertone, okay, with all of the things that JR has said, because they do have good banter. They do seem to vibe very well. The sexual chemistry is there, but we also know that to JR, Sandy is nothing more than a type of car that he just hasn't driven yet. So they start talking about their kissing styles, okay? And JR says that he likes to kiss with a lot of spit and a tongue down his throat. And baby, the next thing you know, these two are kissing. These two are kissing. And I said, what the hell? Is that even allowed? Where's Nick and Vanessa with the rule book? Because these two are doing the most, and it's not even trial marriage time yet. Hell, they haven't even officially picked their trial partner, and they in the club tonguing down. But are we surprised? Are we surprised? Because these two clearly just came here for a hall pass. So, child, now it is choice night, and we're not going to drag this out, all right? Y'all already know the drill. They ask everyone how their week was and why they feel the way that they feel and what connections they made and what the differences are from their past partners and blah, 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 okay? So both Zena and Scotty, they choose each other. Arya starts crying, and JR says that he agrees with Scotty, saying that any man would be lucky to be with Zena, but he says that as long as Zena is happy, he's happy too. So next we see Mariah and Micah. They choose each other, and she speaks on the friendship that they have. Just like I said, nothing more is going to come from these two other than a friendship, all right? But Micah says that he believes that they can challenge each other to be better people for the people who they came here with and to be better people individually as well, all right? Next we see Chanel. She chooses David, and she says that it's because he makes her feel at ease while Micah is very calculated and planned. But what Chanel doesn't know is that that is the exact same thing that Vanessa says about Dave, okay? Vanessa says that Dave is very calculated and he takes forever to make a decision, but I guess you'll find out. Dave chooses Chanel, and he says that they have great conversation, and he talks about the time that she helped him through his emotions by just telling him to smile at the cocktail party. That seemed to really touch him, right? And baby, the way Micah was bouncing that leg up and down, I thought that he was going to knock the whole table over. Then Micah gets really emotional, and he tells David that Chanel is his best friend, okay? And he says, you better make sure that she is safe. As long as she's safe, then you're safe. And I said, okay, Micah, energy. Child, now we see the love triangle between JR, Arya, and Sandy, and they all discuss what they like about each other. JR and Sandy are drawn to each other's fire as well as physical touch. And JR and Arya say that they have a deeper, more relatable connection. So Nick chimes in, and he clearly isn't too happy that JR was able to tap into Sandy's fire so quickly, because he said that he had to work real hard to get that, okay? Child, so these two start going back and forth, back and forth. Nick is not happy at all that Sandy is showing interest in JR. And baby, Sandy had to remind Nick, boy, you brought me here. You brought me here, okay? Don't you forget it. So it's finally time for JR to make his choice. But you know how Netflix do? You know they chopped off the episode right there. But don't worry, I got you. So let's go into the next episode. But did you hit subscribe? Did you hit like? Did you do all the things? Okay, thank you so very, very much. So episode 3 picks up right where episode 2 left off, and we see JR and Sandy. They chose each other, surprise, surprise. And then JR gives this little speech, and he's going on about them being from different backgrounds, and he wouldn't typically approach Sandy because she's not his usual type physically, and he likes that they're both a little toxic. And Sandy says that she chooses JR because she wants to explore dating someone who is so similar to her. And in my opinion, both of their reasons are pure bullshit, okay? Just say that y'all want to and get it over with. That's what y'all want to do. We all know it. And Nick knows it too, okay? And once again, Nick starts going on and on about how long it took Sandy to open up to him, but he reluctantly wishes Sandy the best, all right? So Vanessa starts talking about how great her week was with Nick, and I'm like, girl, after watching Nick just crash out over Sandy, there is no way that I would want to do a trial marriage for him. I'd be like, let me go home, okay? We see Nick and Vanessa choose each other. Side note, it is very weird saying Nick and Vanessa when the host names are also Nick and Vanessa. But anyways, Nick tells Vanessa that he trusted her immediately, and he says that he knew her in a past life, and he couldn't imagine doing this experience with anyone else. And Nick is just saying whatever sounds good in the moment because he knows damn well that he wants nothing more than to grab Sandy and get on up out of there. And we see Vanessa, she starts crying because she says that this whole ordeal has been extremely hard for her. And Dave is worried because Vanessa is about to enter into a trial marriage with a man who is ready to get married. That's what Vanessa wants. So now he's wondering if he made a mistake. And I'm like, did you make a mistake by coming here, or do you think that you made a mistake by not marrying her when she wanted you to marry her? Which one is it? So next we see Arya and Kaleb. They choose each other, and she says that they grew up in similar circumstances and she feels secure with him. Now that I can see, because like I said before, Kaleb is a sweetheart, okay? And he was being very caring towards her since episode 1. And Kaleb says that he chose Arya because their bond came easily and they both appreciate that the other will give them the space to grow during this experience. This is another trial marriage that I don't see resulting in anything more than a friendship. I think that they both just want to find themselves and see who they are outside of their partners during this time, all right? And Kaleb does throw a little shade at Mariah, and he calls her codependent. And I was like, damn, Kaleb, you ain't have to do her like that. So we now have the couples, and Nick and Vanessa hands them their rings, and they send everyone off to their 3-week trial marriage, all right? So first we see Nick and Vanessa. They arrive to their apartment, and immediately Nick is talking about why he thinks that Sandy shouldn't have picked JR, and he feels like JR is low-hanging fruit and she could have picked better guys. First of all, Nick, how can you make that assumption? You don't know the type of connection that Sandy made with the other guys, so why are you automatically assuming that JR is the low-hanging fruit? You know what I think it is? I think that you're afraid of something else hanging low. I think that's what you're really afraid of, okay? And I don't even like JR, but you don't know. They could have a real connection. I mean, you and I, we know that they don't. We know that it's just about sex. But Nick, you don't know that. Well, shit, maybe he does. Maybe he does. But either way, Nick is absolutely terrified, okay? Because he knows Sandy. Even if he doesn't know JR, he knows Sandy. And I think he also knows that deep down, those two are going to get real physical, okay? And while Nick is crashing out, Vanessa's just over there in La La Land like, ooh, I just love our connection, and you make me feel so seen, and I love that I'm your little onion. Girl, read the damn room. You don't see that this guy is going through it? So next we see JR and Sandy, and they let each other know that they are comfortable sleeping in the same bed together. Surprise, surprise, okay? JR is comparing the home decor to kinky handcuffs, sex on the brain all the time with this guy. Sandy says that she's really excited to learn about JR's background since they're so different, but at the choice table, you said that y'all were so similar. Okay, girl. So she tells JR to just be himself, okay? Sandy also says that she likes to use sage, and JR says, oh, you need to sage my mind because I'm having thoughts of you. And this JR again. Does it turn off? Does it turn off, JR? Or is it just, it's always on? Oh, gosh. Sandy finds out that she's the first white girl that JR has ever dated, and she is very happy to hear this. She is very pleased, and I'm like, okay, girl, okay. But she says that she feels like Nick is very upset that she picked JR, and she says that she has never, ever seen him this jealous before. I wonder why Nick is so jealous about JR. Next, we see Chanel and Dave, and they try to get comfortable. They're both talking about wanting to leave again. So Dave tells Chanel that he got really upset when he saw Nick pick that ring up from the choice table because now he shook. Why did you take the ring? Is he gonna propose to Vanessa? Well, we know you ain't. We know you ain't, sir. But Dave, did you not see Nick crash out at that dinner table over Sandy? I think your girl Vanessa is safe, all right? So next we see Mariah and Micah fighting to make some type of conversation by asking each other these random ass questions. What time do you wake up? Where do you do your laundry? How do you do your laundry? I wanted to fast forward this scene so badly, but I didn't for y'all, okay? I watched every second of it for y'all, but it was hard because this scene was awkward AF. And then we see Micah in his confessional, and he's saying how much he misses Chanel, and we gonna see soon just how much he was missing Chanel, all right? So in the next scene, child, we see Arya, and she is still crying to Kaleb. She is still crying to Kaleb. Arya is really going through it, but Kaleb is there to take care of her. He's being his sweet self, just being a listening ear, okay? And Arya says that she is worried that Scotty will develop a real connection with Zena that she just won't be able to replicate. And we see Kaleb bring Arya some toilet paper to wipe her tears, and he's like, look, girl, we're going to have to ration this toilet paper out, okay? Because this girl is crying a lot. And I just thought that was so cute. Kaleb is such a sweetie pie. But if I was him, I would not be able to listen to her cry about her ex every single day, okay? I'll give you one day, maybe two. But baby, on day 3, we're going to have to call production and they're going to have to get me another room because I can't do it. But Arya does say that if Scotty falls for Zena, then that just means that he wasn't the man for her in the first place. And I said, period, girl. So next we see Zena and Scotty, and you cannot tell me that Zena is not Cardi B. I don't care what y'all say. I don't care what y'all say. That's Cardi B. She tells Scotty that she's just a little upset after choice night, but I mean, who wasn't? All of them were, all right? She says that she wants to be a loyal trial wife and she doesn't want to be texting JR. And I'm like, girl, you could try texting him, but I have the feeling that JR, he gonna be a little busy. Next, we see them discuss the strong connection that they've been able to build so quickly. And Scotty says that he finds himself trying to hold back his vulnerability from her, which he says is a sign that he is fighting the true feelings that he's having. They share a cute little laugh at the fact that she sleeps with pillows on her head, and then the two call it a night. But in the very next scene, we see Kaleb prepping the pull-out couch to sleep on, and Arya's like, oh, I hope that Scotty is also sleeping on the couch since it's the first night. And I'm like, girl, I'm sorry to break it to you, but he already in the bed, sis. He already in the bed, all right? So next we see Sandy and JR, and they're winding down for bed, and we learn that JR's name stands for John Richard. Richard was his grandfather, I think. And we learned that Sandy's real name is Sandra, okay? Sandy lets JR know that he isn't her usual type either, but because they were so vulnerable with each other, it just worked. And I'm like, oh, so y'all both just want to experience something different, okay? That's all. Y'all both want to experience something new and different. So, child, what's going on here? We see that it is 3:17 a.m. and Micah and Chanel are texting each other. I said, ooh la la. And we can see Chanel tell Dave that she's gonna be back. And it doesn't even look like Micah gave Mariah the heads up. And production is so dramatic with this black and white. Y'all could have turned the lights on. But that's all we see in this scene. And I guess we'll find out what happens a little bit later. But in Chanel's confessional, she says that this experience has just been a whole lot for her to process. And before she leaves, we see Dave worried about her and he hopes that she stays safe, which is really sweet. But I'm like, Dave, no need to worry about Chanel. She going back to her man, okay? Her real man. And in the next scene, we see that Chanel comes home around 8:30 in the morning and she apologized to Dave for leaving last night, but we don't know exactly where she went. I'm sure she went to see Micah, okay? So, child, next we see Nick telling Vanessa that he ran into Sandy while getting a coffee, and Sandy told him that her and JR kissed, okay? And now JR is sad, which is understandable, right? And Vanessa is trying to be there for him, but Nick is saying that this is way more than he bargained for. Do you not know Sandy? What made you think that this would be a good idea? You've been with her for what, 3 years? I've only known her for 2 episodes, and I could have told you that this was a bad idea, okay? He says that he feels all alone, and Vanessa's like, but you don't have to feel alone. You have me. Girl, he don't want you. He want his girlfriend. He wants Sandy. Vanessa, are you blind? And honestly, if I was Vanessa, at this point, they would have to give me my own room too, because Nick is getting on my nerves, like I told you before. Find you a 37-year-old woman who also wants to settle down. Let Sandy go to Coachella where she's supposed to be. Let Sandy have her fun, have her 27-year-old fun like she's supposed to be doing. Because now look at you. Now you here crying in Vanessa's arms. I don't know what to tell you, sir. I don't know what to tell you. You brought her here. This is what it is, all right? But child, that was episodes 2 and 3. These couples are a hot mess and everyone needs to go home. Everyone needs to go home. Tell me all of your thoughts below. If you haven't already, make sure you go check out my Married at First Sight reviews because, baby, the show is popping and the reviews are popping. Even if you don't watch the show, watch the reviews, okay? Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that you're made aware every time I post a new video. Once again, thank you all so much for 30K. And I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye! About it. Roxiie says we're gonna talk about it.